Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Sinai Temple, and we're so pleased you decided to join us for Shabbat morning services. Thank you for being with us in prayer. There's a beautiful quote I just wanted to share with everyone this morning. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, he says that to pray is to dream in league with God. So listen to that again. To pray is to dream in league with God. And I was thinking about that often people assume that prayer is directed towards one being or directed towards the Holy One of being. That it's a constant one-way conversation, often without any response back. And this morning, I want us to do exactly what Heschel says. I want us to dream that God is praying with us, responding, but more than that, asking questions, asking more of us. And so when we go through our Shabbat morning service, think to yourself, what is God's response? As I sing these ancient traditional words, what is it that God wants me to hear?
Yai la lai, yai la lai, lai lai, yai. Yai la lai, la lai, la lai, lai lai, yai lai, lai, yai la lai, yai la lai, lai lai, yai. Yai la lai, yai la lai, lai, yai la lai. Sing with us. Yai la lai, lai lai, yai. Yai la lai, lai lai, yai lai, yai la lai, lai lai. Yai la lai.
Please rise for our morning blessings. We are found on page 103.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech v'ina levchem en yom uvein lahaila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam albish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rak haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mechim yitzadei gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asali kol tzorki.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotein laYavev koach.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir she'ena me'enayu numami apapai. Yai la lai, yai la lai, lai lai, yai. Yai la lai, yai la lai, lai lai, yai lai lai, yai la lai, yai la lai, lai lai. Yai la lai, yai la lai, lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasdim tovim lamo Yisrael.
Amen. For those who are mourning or observing yard site, we continue with the Mourners Kaddish. We're found on page 121. Page 121. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divra kerute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru.
Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olomei omaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Ask everyone to please rise. Baruch She'amar, page 122.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam baruch hu. Baruch hoseh v'reishit. Baruch omer v'yoseh. Baruch Ozer Umekayim, Baruch Merachem Al Haaretz, Baruch Merachem Al Habriot, Baruch Mishalem Zachar Tov Lireach, Baruch Haila'ad Vehekayam Lahanetzach, Baruch Odeu Matzil, Baruch Hu Mevaruch Shemo. Yailai, 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 yailai,
Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. We are found on page 134.
Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Uzamer l'Shimcha Elyon, Ulezamer l'Shimcha. Take it away.
Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Uzamer l'Shimcha Elyon, Uzamer l'Shimcha Elyon.
Lehagid baboker chasecha, ve'emunatcha baleilot, alei asor ve'aleina ve'lalei hingayon bechinor.
Sing with us.
Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Ulezamer l'Shimcha Elyon, Ulezamer l'Shimcha Elyon, Ulezamer l'Shimcha Elyon, Ulezamer l'Shimcha Elyon.
Just go a few verses down on that page, page 134, as we sing together, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach.
Tzadik Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach, Yifrach, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach, Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske yiske, Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske, Ke'erez balvano niske yiske.
And let's do one more together. You know.
We've been working together way too long. Oziva Zimratya. Oh.
Page 143, Oziv Zimrat Yah.
God has given us strength to be together over these many months. That God continue to give us strength to sing together. Ozi. Ozi. Ozi Zimrat Yah. Vayehi. Ozi, Ozi, v'zimran Yah, vayehi l'Yeshua. Ozi, v'zimran Yah, vayehi l'Yeshua.
Shabbat Shalom to Cantor Feldman.
Shabbat Shalom, rabbis. In Cohen Chapel, I miss being there. It was so nice being together last week.
It really was, and it's beautiful. We had the chance last week to celebrate a bar mitzvah, and we have one in a few weeks. And we're thrilled that we have a chance to be in the chapel again this Shabbat. We're found on page 147. Cantor, will you please lead us? Shochinad.
Shochinad marom v'kadosh shemo בפי ישרים תתהלל, ובדברי צדיקים תתברך, ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להלל, לקלס, על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. ברכות והודות ואתה ביד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודעות אדוני נפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך אלכי העולמים.
Please rise. We're found in the middle of page 148, Parshat Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה יברא קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלל בזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. ישמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשא בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בהלמה והימרו אמן.
We remain standing for the Baruch found on page 149. Just making sure everyone can hear me okay. Cantor, can you hear my volume okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, so hopefully everyone at home can as well. Although it's more important for them to hear you than me, so it's okay.
Not so.
We're found on page 150.
אין כרכך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס פלטך גואלנו לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים.
Page 151, El Adon.
אל אדון על כל המעשים, ברוך ומבורך, מפיקו נשמה, גדלו וטובו מלא עולם, דעת ותבונה סובבים אותו, המתגאל על חיות הקודש, ונדר בכבוד על המרכבה, זכות ומישור לפני כיסו, חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו, טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו, יצרם בדן בבינה ובשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם, להיות מושלים בקרב תבל, מלאי זיו מפיקים נוגה נאווה זיום בכל העולם שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם עושים באימה רצון כהונם ביער וכבוד נותנים לשמור צולה ורינה על זכר מלכותו קרא לשמש ויזרח אור ראה והדגים צורת הלבנה שבה נותנים לו כל צבע מרום תפארת וגדולה שרפים ואופנים וחיות הקודש יאללה 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 אשר שבת מכל המעשים.
We're found on page 152.
תתברך משה שבח מעשה ידיך ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפרוך הסלע.
153.
וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה ותורה, בשירה ובזמרה ובזמרה, בשירה ובזמרה ובזמרה, ומברכים ומשבחים, ומפארים ומעריצים, ומתישים וממליכים. וכולם מקבלים מהם עול מלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותנים רשות זה לזה, להרגיש להיות רע בנחת רוח, בשפה ברורה פנימה קדושה, כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך כל הארץ כבודו. והאופנים וחיות הקודש ורעש גדול מנסים לעומת שרפים לעומתם משבחים ויאמרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. אור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
Page 154, Ahava Rabbah. Ahava Rabbah Tanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem Lagedol Avitera Ahamata Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ba'avur Avotenu Shabbat Becha Avinu Malkeinu Vatelamden Chukei Chaim Ken Techochnenu Telamdenu Avinu Ha'arachaman Amrachem Rachem Aleinu V'ten Libeinu Lehamin Lehaskil Lishemo Alilmod Ulelamed Lishmor Velasod Ulekayen Kol Divrei Talmud Toratecha B'Ava V'ha'er Einu B'Toratecha V'dahat B'Kibeinu B'mitzvotecha V'yachei Levaveinu Le'achava U'lira Et Shemecha V'lo nevot Le'olam va'ed V'lo nevosh Le'olam va'ed Ki B'Shem Kodshecha הגדול והנורא בתחתו, נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך.
אבינו לשלום, נהר בכנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו קוממיות, קוממיות לארצנו, כי אל פועל ישועות אתה, ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, סלע בהמה להודות לך, ולייחלך ולייחלך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
We continue the next two paragraphs of the Shema on our own, page 156.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 157.
לדור ודור הוקם שמו, קיים וכיסו נכון, ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת. אמת שאתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, מלכנו מלכותינו, גואלנו גואל אבותינו, יוצרנו צור ישועתנו, הודינו מצילנו מעולם שמך, אין אלוהים זולתך.
Before we continue with Micha Mocha, our prayer of freedom, I wanted to tell a story that I chanced upon this morning from Masechet Ta'anit from the Talmud. So the story goes that Rabbi Broka found himself in the middle of a marketplace, and suddenly the prophet Elijah appeared to him. And when you have Elijah before you, you have to ask Elijah questions. So the rabbi asked him, is there anyone in this marketplace who deserves a place in Olam Haba, in the world to come? And Elijah responds, no. Well, a short while later, two men walked by, and Elijah told the rabbi, those men deserve a place in Olam Haba, in the world to come. Well, the rabbi hurried over to them and said, excuse me, what do you do? Because he was curious. Of all the men in the marketplace, these two men deserve a place in Olam Haba. What could they possibly have that others don't? And they told him, we're comedians. We're jokers. And our job is to cheer up those who are saddened. And whenever we see two people involved in a quarrel or a fight, we work hard to make sure that there's peace between them. And the reason why I wanted to share this story at this point in the service is because I think when we sing Mi Chamocha and we think about the song at the splitting of the sea, and we think about the great miracle that endured in the splitting of the sea and the freedom that ensued, we always think of these great, grand moments. But often, when someone feels imprisoned in their sadness or imprisoned in their being, sometimes it just takes someone else to ask, how can I set you free, to see a miracle before you. It's a miracle when you make someone else smile when they haven't smiled in days. And it's a miracle when you're so in tune with someone else that you know exactly what it is that will cause their heart to lift a little bit higher. And so when you're thinking about the idea of freedom this morning and this Shabbat, I want you to think for just a second, that person that I love, what is it that will allow them to feel just a little bit of freedom today? Just something small that will bring a smile to their face. Mi Chamocha. Small miracles, big moments. Page 158. We remain standing for the Shabbat morning Amidah as Cantor Feldman leads us, page 159.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vehanora El Elyon Omel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל מבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר וצורכי ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם וצורכי שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע מורי Kalkel
161.
מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו, בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול. מתנשאים לעומת צרפים, מתנשאים לעומת צרפים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון וקרוב בימינו, לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראנה, תראנה מלכותך, הדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד קוד לך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד קוד לך. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא יבוש, לא יבוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד קוד לך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד קוד לך. כי אל מלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, גדול וקדוש אתה. ילאי ללאי 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 ללאי, ילאי ללאי ללאי ללאי, ילאי ללאי 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 ללאי. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Shabbat morning Amidah continues on page 162 through page 166. Please take your time in silent, reflective prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart, dear God, be acceptable to you. Page 166. Ihiyu leratzon imrechi.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי הגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי יהיו לרצון אמרי והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצון אמרי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי. Live TV, you only have one chance. So you're watching our mistakes and you're watching our imagination in action.
I'll ask you later what you were thinking when you just. Kaddish Shalem, page 167.
יתקדל ויתקנה שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון ובמכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קרים והימרו, אמן, יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך, ויתשבח ויתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה, בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ורחמתה דמירם ימה והימרו, אמן תתקע בהצלותון ובכל כל ישראל, כהודם ובוא לבשמי והימרו, אמן יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו, אמן עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו, amen.
Yasher Koach and a beautiful Shacharit service, and we
Yasher Koach to you guys as well.
Torah, the service for the taking out and reading of our Sefer Torah. Cantor Feldman leads us with the Ein Kamocha, page 168.
And I invite Mr. Ariel Cohen to move to the organ at the back of the sanctuary as he leads us in an introduction to Ein Kamocha.
Perfect.
Moshe שונאיך מפניך, כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ולדבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe, in the moment in which your Torah highlights rebellion and division, may you pave us a path of cohesion, togetherness, and unity. A path that begins with having the strength to know each other. A path that allows rooms for each of our stories to be told. A path of telling and a path of listening. A path that renews our lives as in days of old. Amen.
Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Kadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Alul Adonai Tionerom Mema Shemo Yachdav Lecha Adonai Yagidu Lave Yagibu Rave HaTiferet VeHaNetzach VeHahod Kicho Vashamayim Uvaharetz Kicho Vashamayim Uvaharetz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Ve'amin Naseh Lechol Rosh Romemu Romemu
Romemu.
Adonai Eloheinu Ve'yishachavu Ve'yishachavu Le'adom Raglav Kadoshu Romemu Romemu
Romemu.
Adonai Eloheinu Ve'yishtachavu Behar Kodsho Ikadosh Adonai Eloheinu. You may be seated. The Torah reading this morning, Parshat Korach, will be found on page 860 in your Eitz Chaim Chumash, or at the link that will be found in the YouTube chat, page 860 in the red Eitz Chaim Chumash, or the link on the YouTube chat. If you have another Tanakh, it's going to be chapter 16, verse 1 of the book of Numbers, the book of Bamidbar, chapter 16, verse 1, Parshat Korach. Whenever I think of Korach, obviously the first word that comes to mind is leadership. And I tell this story often, and because I tell this story often, I think to myself that there must be some deep feeling inside of me, because the story didn't happen yesterday. But the only time that I ever entered an election for leadership was in 6th grade of my Jewish day school growing up. And it was to be the president of the student council. Now bear with me that, that class only had 9 kids in the entire grade, so a majority was not many people. And I vividly remember the platform. There were 2 issues I was running on. One, I would instill a Lag BaOmer color war in the Jewish day school that I went to. And 2, there would be a school spirit day. And I thought with those two platforms, I would have no problem winning an election. And when the results came, the results of the election was a tie. And so for 6th grade, my senior year in my Jewish day school, I was not president, but I was co-president with a classmate of mine. When I think back to that story, how I didn't have the opportunity to serve just as president, but I had to share that leadership, I always think of Korach. Because Korach is not about how to get to a position of leadership, but rather when you are in that position, how to lead a people. When you think about why people even sign up for leadership, it is usually to invoke some type of change, to grow a community beyond what the leaders before have set up for you already. Not to change everything, but rather to build upon the past that has been set up for us. And we know that when Moshe went into a position of leadership for the Jewish people, he was not elected, but rather he was asked. And since he was asked, he was not asking for all of the political baggage that came with leadership. But what happens? Not only did he become a leader, but he faced challenge after challenge and complaint, and in this case, an entire rebellion. And what we learn from Parshat Korach is what the rabbis teach us in the Talmud, that when you are in a quarrel, that when you are in a position of challenging each other, we should not be stubborn. We should not be stubborn in a quarrel. What the rabbis are teaching us is that leadership is not about the ego of the individual leader, but rather leadership is about the possibility of that person to take a community from one place and elevate them to a much more sacred place. You know, I like to read through books of sermons of the past to see if things have changed in the world. And I read a sermon yesterday from Parshat Korach by Rabbi Reuven Balka in 1978. And this is what he said. He said, 1978, perhaps more than ever before, local and national and international leadership today is very much an ego game. But Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses our teacher, stands as an outstanding model of what true leadership is because of that simple line in the Talmud. Do not be stubborn in the quarrels in which you engage. Rather, make them a machloket min hashamayim. Make them an argument truly for the sake of heaven. For our leadership is about le'ela ula'ela, that together as a community, we should go higher and higher together. Shabbat Shalom.
We're about to start our Torah service this morning. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. I heard some thoughts that you couldn't hear me on the other microphone, so you'll let me know if it's okay and when it's not okay. And we want to invite Joel and Deborah to please come forward. I think there'll be a picture of you. Oh. I think George is also going to put a picture of this beautiful couple up who are celebrating their anniversary of 35 years. Is that right?
Yes.
35 years. And what actual day is your anniversary?
June 23rd.
June 23rd. So we wish you a mazel tov, a happy anniversary, and you're representing all of the June anniversaries that we'll be celebrating a little bit later on in the service. But with that representation, you have the Aliyah. And so I'll ask you to please, whenever you're ready, do you have the bracha before you?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Always prepared. So whenever you're ready, we'll begin the Aliyah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaikach Korach ben Itzar ben Kahab ben Levi Vadatan v'Aviram ben Eliyav v'Om ben Pelet ben Ruvain Yakumu lifnei Moshe v'Anashim mibnei Yisrael chamishim u'matayim Nisiei Eda Kurei Moed Anshe Shem Vayikalu al Moshe v'al Aaron Vayomru aleihem Rav lachem ki kol ha'eda kulam kedoshim u'v'tocham Adonai Umadua titnesu alkahal Adonai, Vaishma Moshe, Vaipol al panav, Vaidaber el korach ve'el kol adato, lemor boker, Vayoda Adonai, et asher lo, ve'et kadosh v'ikri ve'lav, et asher yivchar bo, v'ikri ve'lav, zot asu kechulachem machtot, korach kol adato, Unu v'heinesh v'simu aleihen ketoret lifnei Adonai machar, V'haya ish asher yivchar Adonai hu hakadosh Rav lachem b'nei Levi Vayomer Moshe el Korach Shimuna b'nei Levi Hama'at mikem ki hivdil Elohei Yisrael etchem me'adat Yisrael Le'akriv etchem elav la'avod et avodat mishkan Adonai Ve'la'amod lifnei ha'eda l'shartam Vayakrev otcha ve'et kol achicha b'nei Levi ikach uvikashtem gam kahuna lachem ata v'chol adatecha hanoadim al Adonai Yaron mahu kitalinu aleinu Vayishlach Moshe lekara l'datan aviram b'nei Eliyav Vayomru lo na'ale hameat ki helitanu me'eretz avat chalav udevash Amutenu bamidbar ki sarer aleinu gam histarer.
Yasher Koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein HaTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov on a beautiful 35 years of marriage. Many, many, many more years of happiness and health to come. And we are just so pleased that you were able to join in the Aliyah this morning and represent all of our June anniversaries. Yasher koach to you. We will pause in our service to offer a Misha Berach Lecholim, a blessing of healing upon those who are ill within our congregational and our extended families. Rabbi Sherman will lead us in the prayer, and then we'll pause in the middle. I'll read names from our community, and I very much encourage you to include the name of the person that you're praying for into the chat on Facebook or on YouTube so that we can publicly acknowledge that we are one community, joined in prayer, praying for healing.
Mishe beirach avotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say Amen.
We pray for healing for Medi Konechi, Eliasha ben Sarah, Nasha bat Devorah, Devorah bat Masha, Zvi ben Hadassah, Rivka bat Yehudit, Joan Roberts, Esther bat Monavar, Amnon Avidor ben Chana, Shira bat Mordechai Ubatya, Batya bat Miriam Umatyahu, Isaac Esagpor, Gail Levy, Yehudit bat Liba, Sivia Yaakov, Nachum ben Malka, Rachalea bat Chanachuna, Eva Keleman, Menashe ben Chezansara, Michael ben Tova ve'Eliyahu, Shoshana bat Chana Chaya ve'Ariel, Dylan Shear, Gila Nisan bat Mazel, and the names that you're praying for, we add to our prayer at this moment. Mishaberach l'cholim.
שבהרחים אותנו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We pray for the blessing of healing for mind and body and soul. And let us all say, Amen. I'll ask everyone to please rise for the lifting and dressing of our Sefer Torah. We are found at the bottom of page 174. If you'd like to follow along, page 174, as we lift the Sefer Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה בתומכי המאושר. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה בתומכי המאושר. דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום. דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום.
As our Torah is set down, you may be seated. We continue in the middle of page 177, a prayer for our country. Some of you are asking on Facebook, which prayer book are we in? We are in the Lev Shalem prayer book, page 177, a prayer for our country, the first paragraph in English on that page. Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessing upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials, who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. Before we begin a prayer for the state of Israel, if you'd like to follow along in the siddur, you can find links to the siddur at our website, sinaitemple.org. sinaitemple.org. We very much encourage you to go there. Or you can also find the link if you go to our site on YouTube, youtube.com/SinaiTemplePresents. You'll be able to look at the chat and see the link for the prayer book for the siddur there. Page 178, a prayer for the state of Israel.
Avinu, Avinu, שבשמיים, צור ישראל בגואלו. Avinu, Avinu, שבשמיים, צור ישראל בגואלו.
Avinu Shabashamayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people Israel. Bless the state of Israel that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us all say, Amen.
Avinu, Avinu, שבשמיים, צור ישראל בגואלו. Avinu, Avinu, שבשמיים, צור ישראל בגואלו.
I'll ask everyone to please rise, including the person who is in Cone Chapel holding the Sefer Torah. As we return our Sefer Torah to the Ark, Yahalelu is found on page 183.
יהללו את שם אדוני כי נשגב שמו לבדו. הודו על ארץ ושמיים וירם קרן לעמו. תהילה לכל חסידיו. Irav Livnei Yisrael Am Kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Uvnucho Yomar. Ki lekach tov natati lachem, Torati al tazovu. Eitz chaim hi lamachazikim ha, vetomcheha meushar, teracheha tarchenoam, bechol netivoteha, shalom, hashivenu Adonai, elecha v'nashuva, chadesh yameinu kekedem.
Please be seated. Some of you joined me as I engaged in a wonderful conversation with musician and artist Neshama Carlebach on Thursday night. And after services, if you'd like to go back and check it out, it's on our YouTube page. She discussed her musical journey, in particular, the influence of her father, her discovery of self, and the many talents she possesses. She and I had a chance to discuss just the different ways in which her journey has had ups and downs, but within that conversation was interspersed her gorgeous voice, her soulful music. And she brought up such an interesting point in the middle of our conversation. She reminded us that as we use our screens, as we are right now, to connect with the world, for those of us that use Zoom most of the day, we're actually staring at ourselves most of the time. We watch ourselves speaking. If we're the ones delivering a talk or we're engaged in conversations, we see ourselves. And Neshama explained how different that is in everyday life, because usually when someone else is speaking, we may be distracted or lost in our own thoughts, but we still see the person before us. In other words, it's not our own face that distracts us. And so almost every day during this time of coronavirus, we look at our face in the screen and we examine our flaws, our imperfections, perhaps our strengths. And while it feels egotistical to see ourselves all the time, right now we really don't have a choice. So instead, let's use what we have and engage in what I like to call, what we like to use during the month of Elul, a cheshbon hanefesh, an introspection of who we are. So here are the following questions I want you to think about as you look at yourself in the screen. When I see myself, am I proud? When I look at myself, who do I see on the screen? Do I see someone who gives, or do I see someone who takes? Do I see someone who says, I am a proud, contributing member of my community or synagogue? Or am I someone who leaves the building of community to others? Am I someone who says, I vow to do better, to be better with every single day? Or am I someone who says, I'll leave the perfecting of the world to someone else? The Radbaz, a 16th century authority on Jewish law, cautions against praying in front of a mirror. And the reason he gives is that you might think that you are bowing to yourself. What an important message to hear right now, at this very time when we see ourselves on the screen. Are we worshiping what we see? Or are we asking ourselves, how can that person on the screen be a messenger a servant of the Holy One of Being. When we do see ourselves in the screen, which we know is a causation of this time, may we look past our physicality, not distracted by what's missing or what's there, but rather when we look at the screen, may we look deep into our souls, showing honor to God by seeing the ways in which we can add blessings to this world. Let the mirror, or let the screen reflect working souls, striving to change and yearning to grow. Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher koach.
Baruch Tiyeh. We continue now with our Musaf service. I'll ask everyone to rise as Cantor Feldman leads us on page 184. Page 184 with Chatzik Kaddish.
יתגדל, יתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובמחול וחייך ובית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב והימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם לעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, בישתבח ביתבר בתרומה מתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ותלש בריקודשה, בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ימה והימרו. Amen. We remain standing for the beginning of our Musaf Amidah, page 185. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vehanora El Elyon Komel Chasarim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezofer Chastei Avot Umevi Goel Libnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Ufolkein Umoshia Umagein Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ufolkein Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayei Meti Batarav Leoshia Morid Atal Mechalkel Chaim Mechesed Mechayei Meti Merachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berochei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Lisheinei Abad Michamocha Bar Gevurot Michamocha Bar Gevurot Umidom Elach Melech Meimit Umechayim Umatzliach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah le'achayot metim Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hametim. Page 187, our Kedusha. בך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה, 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 הללויה.
We continue praying the remainder of the Musaf Amidah privately, pages 188 through 192. If you're still praying the Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We turn back to the bottom of page 189, the prayer Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu Neshomecha Yisrael U'tefilatam Yavatecha
We turn ahead to page 203, Kaddish Shalem. Yitkadal vitkana shemer haba, ve'alma divra kirute ve'amlich malchute, v'chayechon uve'emechon v'chayrecho bet Yisrael, v'agala bizman kari ve'imeru, Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach, ve'alam le'al me'al maya, Yitbarach, v'ishtabach v'itmar v'troma v'tnaseh, v'ithadar v'taleh v'talash v'rikuhut berichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushpechata v'nechamata damirami alma v'himeru, Amen. Tika bat lodon malkon ko Israel, kol damavon v'ishmai v'himeru, Amen. Yesh lama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, alein ve'al kol Israel v'himeru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imenu. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. This week, we read Parshat Korach. And Parshat Korach, as you may know, is all about a rebellion in the wilderness. And the rebellion in the wilderness from Korach is explained in 1,000 different ways. That is, people say that Korach rebelled, as the rabbis explain it, because of ego, not out of a sense that Korach wanted to do good for the people of Israel. They also explain that when it says that it was a dispute that wasn't l'shem shamayim, that wasn't for noble purposes, it refers to the fact that Korach didn't even argue with the other side. There were squabbles that broke out inside Korach's own camp. In other words, what the rabbis are doing is explaining to us psychologically why it is that Korach was moved to rebel, not out of the same kinds of motivations that moved Moshe, who was humble and other-oriented, but out of the motivations of Korach's own drive for power, for prestige, for position. I thought about this in relation to the fact that Korach is, after all, not a unique phenomenon in the wilderness. Because from the moment that the Israelites leave Egypt, they're a mess. They argue about the meat, and they argue about going back to Egypt with all sorts of false memories of how wonderful it was. And they argue about the rebellion of Korach. It goes on and on and on. And I began to ask myself why that was. Why is it that the Israelites who saw signs and wonders and received the Torah and are led by a cloud by day and fire by night, why are they so deeply dissatisfied that in some ways it reminds you of the quip of the playwright Bertolt Brecht when he said that when the government goes awry, it's time to dissolve the people and elect a new one. And you know, that's what God proposes. God says to Moshe, look, I'll make a people out of you. Let's get rid of this people. They are not only stiff-necked, but a pain in my neck. I'm paraphrasing. And we sympathize with God's frustration because it doesn't matter what you do. You give them manna, they want meat. You lead them this way, they want to go that way. You give them the greatest leader of history and they want another leader. But I remember years ago reading the remark of Nabokov that the good reader is a rereader. That the first time you read something, you just understand what happens, but the second time you start to see the artistry and the shape and the intentions of the author. But of course, there's another reason why a good reader is a rereader. It's why we return to the Torah again and again and again and again. Because we change. We know things that we didn't know last year or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And reading the rebellion of Korach this year, of all years, has given me a different perspective on the Israelites in the wilderness. Imagine waking up in the wilderness. Forget the physical discomforts. Forget the beating sun and the sands, because according to the Midrash, God provided a cloud cover that took care of them so that it wasn't too hot during the day. And they could sleep at night knowing that the next morning they would be healthy and well and fed. But they also woke up knowing that tomorrow would be like today. The days in the wilderness rolled on in a sort of endless parade of similarity. The days in the wilderness were the same as the day before and the day after. For the first time, I think we begin to understand the generation of the wilderness. One of the psychological oppressions of the pandemic has been the sameness of the days. People wake up, and it isn't as though their calendar is filled with different things today than it were yesterday or the day before, whether it be travel or dinner or lunch or company or whatever, or just work. Instead, for so many of us, each day is like the day before. And this sameness can induce a certain depression, anxiety, and even anger. I think part of the reason that Korach rebels is because it gives something different to do in a world in which monotony has become regularity. We can understand this. Maybe, I grant you, not on the same level. We aren't wandering through the desert. And also, obviously, the losses and tragedies of the pandemic give a whole different configuration to some lives than wandering through the wilderness, although they too faced dangers and attacks that they could not envision. But the monotony, we can begin to understand. Even with all the diversions, even with the fact that it seems every 5 minutes, Netflix is sending me a notice telling me we know what you want to watch next. There is the reality of sameness and the desire, sometimes even the destructive desire, to do something new just so things will change. And I wonder, reading Korach this year, if that wasn't part of the motivation. The rabbis, of course, were right. It wasn't l'shem shamayim. It wasn't for a greater purpose. It was just to have something so that they would wake up with purpose, with an aim, even if the aim was motivated by anger, even if it was an aim that was constructed from ego, it was still something and not nothing. So what do we do? What do we do? The answer is, in essence, the same as the answer was to the Israelites in the wilderness, which is that we have to hold on to sovlanut, to patience, which comes from the same root as to bear something, to put up with something, and hold on to hope. Recognize that the sameness is not forever, and that we have to find inside the monotony opportunities for growth that are not motivated by anger or destruction, but by creativity and possibility. Again and again and again, God tried to teach the Israelites this lesson in the wilderness. Again and again and again, they failed to learn it. But eventually, they elected a new people. Eventually, the generation of the wilderness died out and a new generation arose with Yehoshua. That, of course, is not what we plan or hope for. But you can be reborn in lots of ways. And you can be reignited in lots of ways. And there are people who need our help and things to be done and a world to be fixed and projects to be undertaken. And even in the monotony of the days, important things to do. Korach chose the wrong path. Moshe chose the right one. When God wants to destroy the people, Moshe refuses because he recognizes that day after day after day, it is our task to fill our lives with purpose and with meaning, even if the externals remain the same. That if we live l'shem shamayim, for a higher purpose, for a godly purpose, if we see ourselves as instruments of something greater, that it is our task to bring redemption into this world, then even in the evenness of the days, we will praise. And although we may at times feel the depression, the anxiety, the anger that no doubt afflicted the Israelites and doomed Korach, we will transcend it, knowing that there is a promised land, not a perfect land, but a promised one. And that the days of monotony will in time end. And we can emerge as a new generation, having learned, having read the story, and promising to do better. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Yasher Koach to Rabbi Wolpe. We'll continue in a moment with Ein Keloheinu on page 204. And after the Mourners Kaddish, we'll then recognize our June anniversary. So we hope that you continue to stay with us through the end of the service. Ein Keloheinu, page 204.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadoneinu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadoneinu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shehiktiru, Avoteinu, Levanecha Eketoret Asamim, Yalai la 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 la, Yalalai, 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 la 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 la, Yalalai, 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 la 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 la. La 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 la.
Please rise for Aleinu, page 205.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, atei gedula leotzer breishit. Shelo asanu giloyei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama. Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. הכתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We recall with affection those who no longer walk this earth, grateful to God for the gift of their lives, for their sweet companionship, and for their cherished memories which endure. May God comfort all who mourn. The Shabbat, we recall the passing of Arnold Friedman, husband of Janice Friedman, father of Alyssa Primo, Johanna Medley, and Josh Friedman, grandfather of Shayna, Spencer, Wesley, Oliver, Brian, and Brandon. We also recall the recent passing of Mendel Manny Lewis Rittenberg, husband of B. Friedlander of blessed memory, father of Charles of blessed memory, Phil, David, and Diane Neubauer, grandfather of Elizabeth, Jennifer, Allison, Rebecca, and Katie. We recall those yortzites will be observed during this upcoming week. Bess Bierman, Brian Bezonsky, Kevin Bezonsky, Libby Boland, Hyman Bradovsky, Sandra Cohen, Minnie Dunitz, Harry Eisen, Davud Farahi, Leo Felsenthal, Nazanin Faruzenrad, Bertha Gantz, Arthur Gepner, Michael Gotzian, Lee A. Guglick, Samuel Goodman, Bezad Hakimi, Norman Hendler, Giza Hornstein, Samuel Hornstein, Lahos Hornstein, Andre Hornstein, Anna Hornstein, Yenta Hornstein, Edward Hyman, Darren Jenger, Dorothy Coleman, Edward Kamener, Margot Katz, Leo Kaufman, Mariam Cohen, Clara Kraus, Lenore Lerner, Isaac Levy, Nasser Yaakov Madahi, William Maltz, Monroe Miller, Doris Moshi, Jamjid Nosratian, Saeed Pakravan, Isaac Poladian, M. Harvey Powell, Abraham Ryder, Akeem Riskin, Charles Rosenberg, Alexander Rozenak, Abraham Nissan Rubin, Esag Saidi, Ann Shore, Nejat Shaulian, Manya Silberberg, Karen Silverman, Susan Spivak Carter, Abraham Stein, Rose Swartz, Gordon Tobin, Harry Umansky, N. Ben Weiner, Deborah White, Mac Winston, Manusher Yadagar. If there are any others names to add at this moment, please write them in the chat so we can also recall the memories of your loved ones here within our Sinai Temple community. We ask those in mourning or observing a yortzeit to please rise on page 207. Page 207 to sanctify God's holy name in the words of the Mourners Kaddish. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma, Divarach, Hirute, V'yamlich Malchute. V'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'yimaru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ul'omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpawar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'ale v'yithalal shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da Amiran Bi'alma V'Yimaru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimaru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'asei Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimaru Amen. May God who brings peace unto heavens bring peace unto all those who mourn. And let us all say Amen. You may be seated. We're going to call upon Rabbi Wolpe to address our very happy anniversary couples at Sinai Temple. Shabbat Shalom.
We have a wonderful list of anniversaries. So for this June, I'm going to start and read each of the anniversaries and then ask Cantor Feldman to sing Shehechianu. Matthew and Alana Semanian on their first year. Amy and Andrew Rosenblum on their third year. Eitan and Sherry Elbaz, 6 years. Janet and Shariar Yagubi, 10 years. Michelle and Shahram Yasharpur, 11 years. Morris and Samira Barlava, 12 years. Doris and Michael Nikravash, 16 years. Sabrina and Mayor Shadi, also 16 years. Karen and Lou Jacobs, 20 years. Mirit and Kevan Niemann, 20 years. Marcy and Frank Melton, 21 years. Gadi and Marjan Penn, 22 years. Mehran and Nazila Sina, 24 years. Bob and Debbie Mosanan, 25 years. Freddie and Robert Reiter, 27 years. Ozzy and Carl Sussman, 27 years. Catherine and Carrie Strom, 29 years. Jimmy and Leslie Weinberg, 30 years. Lori and David Lefkowitz, 32 years. Mary Beth and Rick Lieberman, 35 years. Deborah and Joel Weinstein, 35 years, and Yashkoach on the Aliyah. Jan and Dan Black, 37 years. Albert and Ricky Rosenblatt, 38 years. Marshall Lerner and Jacqueline Fabe, 40 years. David and Sarah Aftergood, 42 years. Harold and Brenda Fight, 43 years. Patty and Erwin Jager, 43 years. Lita and Ebby Simai, 46 years. Ann and Leonard Watts, 47 years. Clara and Roman Bruno, 48 years. Sanford and Betsy Weinstein, 51 years. Sharon and Erwin Grossman, 52 years. Dr. Albert and Mary Louise Zager, 53 years. Erwin and Barbara Tannenbaum, 54 years. Barbara and Jack Berman, 55 years. Doctors Barbara and Jack Berman, have a few doctors, some named, some not. Barbara and Arnie Saltzman, 57 years. Roz and Alan Schwartz, 57 years. Paul and Herta Amir, 60 years. And Dan and Ruth Merritt, 62 years. Quite a wonderful collection, both of people and also of celebrations. Chazan, Cantor, will you sing for
Join
us?
us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen. Mazal tov.
We are grateful to God who has sustained us and enabled us to reach this moment and to celebrate these people, these anniversaries, this simcha together. Mazal tov.
We're going to add one more, Mora Alana and Tamir Rebak, 25 years, who's an amazing teacher and model for all of our children here at Sinai Akiba Academy. Mazal tov.
First of all, a special thank you to Paul and Herta Amir. As I was speaking to Herta last week on the phone, she let me know that it was her anniversary, their anniversary 60 years, to which we said we need to celebrate all of our June anniversaries. So thank you for just your beautiful presence in our community. And with every name that Rabbi Wolpe read and mentioned, I know that Cantor Feldman felt this way, Rabbi Wolpe, Rabbi Sherman, and myself, how lucky we are to have these beautiful souls as part of our congregation. And it just shows that we are a beautiful community made up of such diversity and strength and love and kindness. And with each added member, we feel the strength of that kehillah. And so for all of you who are watching, please know that we feel the sanctity of this community and we invite you to join our community. Become a member of this sacred place. Wherever you are, we feel the presence of your prayer and your participation, and we welcome you to join Sinai Temple as we engage in these holy moments together and truly live out the milestones of each other's lives. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We also bring you greetings, of course, from our Sinai Temple president, Jamie Berman. Our entire board of directors wishes you a Shabbat Shalom. From Howard Lessner, our executive director, and our entire staff, we just hope you have a blessed and peaceful Shabbat. With that, anything I'm missing? Oh, I know what we wanted to say. Okay, sorry. Liberty, I still have their microphone.
It's all yours.
Okay, this week, Rabbi Sherman and I looked at our calendar. We were supposed to be at Camp Ramah this week as rabbis in residence. And in particular, this Shabbat, it's a Shabbat that my kids and our family looks forward to every year. We've been going to Camp Ramah for the last, how many years? 10 years as rabbis in residence, usually the first week of the session, first week of the summer. And so next Shabbat, we'd like to dedicate the Shabbat to Camp Ramah. And we'll be highlighting different melodies used at Camp Ramah. We'll be highlighting different memories from Ramah alumni, from campers that yearn to be there. So we hope that you will join us next Shabbat on Facebook or on YouTube as we celebrate camp in Camp Ramah. And with that, Cantor Feldman, if you'll lead us. Is it Adon Olam this morning?
It is Adon Olam. We turn to page 211. Please join us. Yai la la la, yai la la la, yai la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, yai la la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Adon Olam asher malach beterem kol yetzir nivra leit nasa bechefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra leit nasa bechefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kiknot hakol lechano yimlot nora ve'u haya
Page 77, please rise. Al ken berach Adonai et Yom HaShabbat v'yikadshehu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'nisabtivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. It's one challah, but the size of two. Motzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Ribbon Shalom, Master of the universe, as we continue to journey through the wilderness, may we look at tomorrow brighter than today as we engage L'Shem Shamayim, truly for the sake of heaven. Let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.